of by one species of another.
In December 1985, the writer Whitley Strieber experienced a terrifying alien abduction from his cabin in upstate New York. He wrote about his experience in a best-selling book, Communion, which was later turned into a major film.
Is that someone there?
I woke up aware of the fact that there was something terribly wrong, and when I opened my eyes, I saw these dreadful figures around me, little stocky figures that were dark blue, and a tall, willowy sort of a figure that had a big black eyes and a rather snout-like sort of narrow face. And I thought of course I was having a nightmare. I kept trying to wake up again, and I couldn't because I was already awake. I had, among other things, a needle stuck into the side of my head, and it made a flash behind my eyes, and it was absolutely terrifying. Then I blacked out.
One of the things that abductees have described over the years are these sort of unusual staring procedures where an alien will come and stare directly into their eyes at a distance of a few inches or 1 inch or even touching forehead to forehead. And what is happening there is that the alien is sort of hooking into their optic nerve and using their optic nerve as a neural pathway. And by doing that, they can go all through their brain, stimulating or innervating any neural pathways that they want, and therefore they can receive data. That is to say, they can look at an abductee's memories or what an abductee has been doing for the past few weeks or whatever. They can inject data if they wish. They can elicit emotional responses for whatever procedures they want to do. They can virtually control the person in any way they want.
Just what occurred up at the cabin remains a mystery. Strieber maintains that it was a real event and not a dream, and cites that over the following 4 years, 19 other people also reported seeing aliens at the same location.
Alien abduction experiences could be one form of what's called a metachoric experience. This is a particular kind of altered state of consciousness in which you think you're in the ordinary world, but in fact you've hallucinated everything. The most common example of this is the false awakening. That's where you dream that you've woken up. So you're dreaming, you dream you wake up, you perhaps get out of bed, clean your teeth, wander around, everything's perfectly normal. And then you see something isn't normal at all and you go, oh my God, I'm dreaming. And then you really wake up.
What's it like recounting the experience now after all these years?
It feels like it's happening again. It's as vivid as it was the day it happened. I'll never forget it for a second. It's burned into my brain. I remember it very well.
I've met Whitley Strieber on a number of occasions, and I am totally convinced that he's being entirely truthful about his experiences. He is undoubtedly someone who has undergone some quite extraordinary experience. Whether it's extraterrestrial or not, I don't know. I'm not sure that he would necessarily label it in that way. But it's alien, certainly in the sense that it's alien to our understanding. And I think that Whitley and people like him have clearly experienced something quite extraordinary.
I'd like to introduce Anne and Whitley. Whitley's had some...
The support group shown in the film Communion was based on a real abduction support group run by Bud Hopkins in New York City, which has met every week for the last 35 years.
One of the things that's always asked by the abductees themselves, why me? Everybody says, why me? And there's no answer for that. We have no idea. The one thing we do know is that if someone has been having abduction experiences, which they will have throughout their life again and again, as if they're an involuntary specimen in somebody's long-term study, and that person then comes to maturity and produces children of his or her own, it's very likely that one or more of those children will also be abducted, as if the aliens are following a particular genetic line.
Every Friday evening, around 10 people come together in Hopkins' Midtown house to share their experiences. For many, it's a vital support mechanism in coping with the trauma.
Or what had happened, or why my head was going in the wrong direction on the bed, or why I still had my jeans on. It was kind of frightening. I was being shown something on a screen, and two little guys were leading me up to the screen, and little gray, the typical guys. And I realized, well, I need to wake up. I need to wake up really bad because I don't like this. And then when I woke up, I was paralyzed in my bed. I was in a fetal position, and my hands were locked like this.
I woke up paralyzed, and I could move my eyes. There was diffuse blue light.
I saw this light, and it was sort of like a very symmetrical, circular globe of some sort.
I had this gut feeling inside of me that I knew at that point that something or someone was in my room.
It was real, what was happening to me, and it was terrifying.
What I feel is going on at the heart of the abduction phenomena is that another intelligence from here, from another place, is forcibly interacting with human beings, I feel against their will, in a series of a priori, originally perhaps experiments, and now a series of procedures that suggest a very disturbing situation, namely that we're being mucked about with.
One of the most dramatic abduction cases that Hopkins investigated occurred in November 1989 in New York City.
Well, on November 30th, 1989, I went to sleep, and I felt this numbness crawling up from my toes up to my legs, and I felt a presence in the room. And I was afraid to open my eyes, and I didn't for a while. But then I had to in order to protect my family and myself. And when I opened my eyes, there was this creature, this thing, standing at the foot of my bed. It had large black eyes. It was sort of gray, and it didn't belong there. I was terrified. I thought I was going to have a heart attack, to be quite honest with you. I thought I would go into heart failure. That's exactly how I felt.
Linda was put in touch with Bud Hopkins, who undertook a series of hypnotic regressions. These sessions unlocked many more bizarre details of the abduction.
Well, I found myself outside the window, 12 stories up in midair, and I couldn't breathe. It was hard to breathe, and I felt as though my eyes were like stuck in their sockets. They wouldn't move, so all I could do was look straight ahead. I was bathed in a bluish-white light, sort of smoky, and that was all I saw. And then the next thing I remember